Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. Boxing, you find a way to win or you find a way to lose. So Eddie Hearn, I know Eddie Hearn is coming out saying that he and Canelo Alvarez are friends. I personally don't know how much of a friend he considers Alvarez to be if he's not going to advise him correctly. So we know that Canelo has two mandatories. He's got the fight coming this Saturday with Bivol. And I think September 17th he has a fight with Triple G. Those are two pretty big fights. So you figure he's fighting in May, and June, July, August, September. There's no guarantee that fight in September is going to take off. Because when he gets in there with Bivol, who can definitely hurt Saul, even if Canelo wins that fight somehow, okay, which is definitely a losable fight for Canelo. But he's expected to win. So let's say Canelo wins that fight, but he takes some damage. He's going to have to take time to heal. Say it takes him 2 months, that's 60 days. He's supposed to go back into training for 60 days and then roll right into a fight with Triple G. He's going to want more than an 8-week training camp. Now, I personally think this Triple G, the one that we saw, Canelo beats him with no problem. But what's happening here is Triple G has a lot of time to train. A lot of time to get ready for this third fight. I, like a lot of people, feel that Triple G won those two fights. But Triple G, once he left Abel Sanchez, is not the same fighter. He's just not that guy, man. He was a menacing, violent Kazakhstakian, or however the hell you say it over there. Coming in there, man, you have a real threat. Nobody wanted to fight that guy, man. And he had a super long reign with his titles. But this Triple G is just not the same. So maybe Canelo can come back with an 8-week training camp and easily clip Triple G. But Triple G's had a long time to train. And I think he's going to be in much better shape than he was in that fight we just saw where he fought and was able to get his opponent out of there where he fought in Japan. But Triple G showed some signs of him really getting hurt, especially with body shots. And we all know what Canelo does when it comes to the body. But Triple G showed that if you slow down on him, he still has a way to hit you with those shots coming from those awkward angles, especially on top of your head, and punching kind of downwards. But I just don't think he beats Canelo. I think if Canelo tries to force it, having to take 60 days off to kind of recoup and go into a shortened training camp, I think he sets himself up for failure because that means Triple G's had a lot more time to get in shape and get prepared and develop a really sound game plan against him. But let's say he does clip Triple G in this next fight. Doesn't take much damage from Bivol. Going to a fight with Triple G, I still think he's being very optimistic to say he fights on September 17th. He beats Triple G in October, November, December. Then basically he has like a week of downtime. Then after that, he's right back in training camp. And let me tell y'all something. I don't know how many of you guys were athletes. We're not even talking about boxing. But how many of you were athletes, right? Your legs, your knees, your shins, your calves, your back can only endure so much continuous training. It comes a point to where you have to stop and give your body a sufficient amount of rest. Now, the downside, if you take extreme absences from working out, then that can be counteractive. So you'll go beyond the healing process and almost get into a process where the body starts to break down because you have to be active to ensure you're keeping the joints, everything lubricated, not allowing the muscles to stiffen up and become tight. You have to do that so that your body. It's like they talk about the well-oiled machine. Well, that's what it is with your body and cartilage and everything else. You have to keep moving. You have to keep doing things. When you don't, that's where you're more prone to injury. And I think but I think for Canelo, when you're going nonstop, you're more prone for injury too. So it's the proper balance of rest with working out and diet and everything else. And I just think if he tries to push for a third fight this year, I just think that's too much. But this is where it comes back to Eddie Hearn, and he's got to advise him properly. I know Canelo is excited. Him and Eddie are friends, amigos now. Eddie Hearn is looking to milk Canelo as much as he can, which Canelo's going to benefit, but Eddie Hearn benefits too. He already said he likes Bivol, but him and Canelo are friends. Canelo's better for his business if Canelo wins. So we know who Eddie Hearn wants to win. But now he's looking at trying to get Canelo to come and fight in England, to fight in other areas in the world, to come back and maybe fight a big fight in Mexico. He's looking to have him fight some fighters who are, light heavyweights that he has on his roster. Guys are ranked. Don't get me wrong. He's not just going to put them in there with anybody. But for the most part, he's trying to give his guys an opportunity now that he has. Excuse me. I don't edit those out because I'm human. Now that he has Canelo over there, and he's just trying to give his guys opportunities as well. And he knows that they'll make a lot of money. Canelo make a lot of money. He'll make a lot of money. And then these are guys who he's been, rolling with for a long time, and it keeps them happy. So, but I think that's going to work against Canelo Alvarez. I think Canelo Alvarez should fight 3 times a year, but we're looking more like at a January, maybe May, June, July, August, September, October, just space it out the right way. But I think if he comes in after this Bivol fight and he takes some damage, he tries to rush and get back in there after, having to go through a little R&R to try to get in there with Triple G. I just think giving Triple G unnecessary advantage. And if you have a 2-fight mandatory this year, or 2 fights this year, you just have to find a different date and push it back. And then you start pushing things back, then sometimes things don't happen. But if they are going to make a 3rd fight, and it's not going to be a guy like Buatsi or Craig Richards or John Ryder, these are mandatories. But if they can, circumvent that somehow, and he wants to do a fight in Mexico, say he chooses to do a 3rd fight this year, he gets through Bivol, he gets through Triple G, and now he decides to do a 3rd fight in Mexico at super middleweight or light heavyweight. But if you're going to do a big fight in Mexico at super middleweight, why not fight Charlo Benavidez later this year? I'll tell you why it may not happen, because Eddie Hearn's involved. And Eddie Hearn's going to want to push his guy. But at the same time, Eddie Hearn's all about money. And he's willing to talk to anybody. Eddie Hearn's not a fool. Eddie Hearn's not stupid. He's not going to sit there and allow his pride and ego get in the way of, a $200 million fight. He's not going to do that. He's going to figure out a way, and he'll compromise a great deal to make the fight happen. But I think sometimes you got to think about the fighter's health, the fighter's well-being. Canelo's a bad boy. He's a beast. He's a machine. I'm sure he can handle a whole lot of this, but he's human. We all have our breaking point. And I just think pushing him like that, if he's taking damage, is too much. And hopefully Eddie Reynoso, because Eddie Reynoso loves Canelo. Eddie Reynoso is not Canelo's friend. There's no word to describe that relationship. He's not going to let Canelo go into something and just chasing money, because he doesn't need money. You're chasing legacy. Your legacy is not going to be disrupted if you wait 3-4 months to come back and fight, or push a fight back 3-4 months. It doesn't affect your legacy. What that does is it makes you smart, allows you to preserve yourself and get right and get healthy. And then they can go in the gym a couple times a week and just do a little bit of work so he stays in shape. But there's no need to force anything. But Eddie Hearn's already looking at who he can line him up with after Triple G. And of course, talking about the big fight in England, which Canelo wants, but Eddie wants that too. People in England want too. People love Canelo. Canelo's loved all over the world because he can fight. But I think he's just getting a little. I think it's wishful thinking, man, to even entertain him fighting those 3 times between now and December. I mean, we're not talking about now as in January. We're talking about May. That's 1 and then 2 more fights. I just think that's a lot. I don't think he needs to force anything. I don't force nothing. That's not my style. Never been. I think Canelo in this instance, if he decides to do that, I think he'll be forcing it. Now, unless he doesn't take any punishment at all. I still think, that's different, but I still think he's forcing it because of the grueling training, the grueling sparring. That takes its toll on you. But we'll see what they end up doing. But Eddie Hearn is just grinning ear to ear. He's wearing pajamas. He's over there, man. Viva Mexico. Eddie Hearn doesn't know what to do with himself. Eddie Hearn does not know what to do with himself because he's got Canelo. He got Canelo ear. He's got his mind. And he's going to be able to have Canelo in that ring and making real money for his business. And I just would hate to see that relationship sour because of greed. I think Eddie Hearn, if he really considers that man a friend, he would say, no, stop, take it easy, relax, let's pick up beginning of the year. It was still a big fight in Mexico or a big fight in England or somewhere else. But there's no need to force it. But anyway, that's my 2 cents, man. Leave your comments below, let me know what you think. But I think it's wishful thinking that Canelo is going to go in here, fight Bivol, come out of that unscathed, go in there and fight Triple G, come out of that unscathed, and then turn a week later and come back and fight close to the end of the year. That's like a unnecessarily like accelerated schedule. Like it just doesn't make sense to have him moving so speedily in between fights. It's not like the money's gonna go anywhere. But anyway, leave your comments below and let me know what you think. I'm sure you guys have an opinion on that, but I think Eddie Hearn right now he's just trying to get as much as like they say, strike while the iron's hot. Buy the dip in crypto. Eddie Hearn is buying the Canelo dip right now. And he's doing that before everything goes up and gets out of whack and he can't make any money on him. So that's when he'll sell them off. But that being said, like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Appreciate your support. Leave your comments below. As always, I'm in the breeze.